What's going on, Cyber World? Dynamic Di here with Fear Single Moms. And I decided to come to you guys because I had a thought. And my question is, when's the last time you did a credit check? Like a credit history check of yourself? And when's the last time you did that as a mental health check? So, my reason for asking that is because not only is it Mental Health Awareness Month, which is obviously most important and so great right now for the month of May. But I was checking my credit just yesterday, and as I was going through today, I thought about the fact of how us single moms in particular, and I mean people do this, but us in particular, when's the last time you really checked your credit history? Made it a pattern and a habit to do that. Me, I've gotten better to a point where I make sure I check at least within 3 weeks. And that's mainly because I've learned and understood that every month, obviously it renews. Every certain amount of weeks, it actually has an update. So for me in the program that I decided to use, every 3 weeks is about right for me to see what's going on in my credit history and what's going on with my credit health. And the reason why I think that equates to our mental health right now is, the reason behind why we check it. We check it for the wealth side, the monetary side, the finances, to see, you know, our credit history, as society states it, is like our level of who we are. And that's not the case, and I don't want to say it's not true because it is. It does express a certain type of characteristic of yourself. It expresses like a timestamp of what you've done over your history, but it doesn't negate like who you are. And I say that, single mom, because one of the things I used to do when I would check this, and this is over like the last, you know, decade especially, where I would always think of it as a negative. I would look for, and that's another thing, when you look for it, you look for the number, you look where you're scaled at, and that's another thing. We scale ourselves on this, who's on the pedestal above me kind of thing. How poorly, you don't even think positive, how poorly am I doing right now? What am I capable of getting right now, if at all? Is this credit card going to ruin me? Is this car payment going to ruin me? So it would get to a point where, that's all you would think of it as a negative connotation. So you check it more so to find out how bad did, things go for you. And people who are wealthy, it's speaking monetarily, or those who even aren't, those who are, just doing well for themselves, when they check it, I wonder the difference, right? And that's where the mental health check comes in. Because they look at it and they say, how far can I go today? How far is this number or this scaling going to take me in the next 3 weeks when it updates again? What am I capable of changing that to improve it and changing that to minimize my losses and to maximize my gain? And even though they're spending, even, and this is even people who are in that 3 percentile, which I am gunning for, I want to have that. And even if I don't get that far, I take that back. When it may take time to get that far, speak life, right? It's something that it's a different mindset. You got to change how you look at things, and your mental health is huge on that. And I just thought about that when you go, and I encourage you, this is something that I'll be teaching in my Fierce Coaching course, and I won't go into, bottom line specifics and statistics on certain things, because that's not what it's meant for. It's meant for building you up as a woman and building you up as a mom and a parent. It's something that we already do, but changing your perceptions and changing your mindset and your outlook on what you're capable of, not just what the standard credit history says. And the reason why I say that is because if you're in, the poor range, so to speak, in the scaling, if you're in the fair, if you're below poor, what makes you think that you're not able to do certain things, though? And a lot of that is just because we have the lack of understanding. Yes, there's of course work that you got to get done, and I promote, certain people who are in that, those who are budgeters, those who teach you those things, getting a CPA, getting a CFA, asking, your personal bank teller or someone that is adequate in those areas to teach you about managing your money in a certain fashion. However, they can do that, but if you're not willing to change your own patterns, or you don't understand how that fits your world, and we understand, I mean, honestly, single moms, we know that in our world it is a little different. We give these resources sometimes, or these statements from people, and we don't understand them, and we're just kind of told, well, you got to make it work. And in our lives, if you haven't noticed, that's what we do. We are adamantly good for some reason of dealing with things under pressure, of dealing with the things that make it work. And I want to help you do that. And that's one of the pillars of the Fierce Coaching course, is understanding the money, understanding the financial literacy to get there. Now, again, let's go back to the initial question, is when's the last time you checked it? I would advise, I do like Credit Karma, getting Experian. Those are two really popular, and they work. Formats that you can check your credit history and keep track of things, gives you recommendations. If you're doing something like an app, or just to help, manage, doing something like Nerd Wallet is great. And don't get me wrong, when we go into stuff like Quicken Loans or QuickBooks, yes, you have to learn the software. Yes, you have to understand those things. But if you don't have financial literacy there to do that, how well is that resource for you? And that's where you got to become resourceful. And for a lot of us, that takes so much time and effort that we feel we don't have. And I want to teach you how to gain that, how to, get that at a quicker rate, at a faster pace, but to build your life. So that way we can leave our kids this legacy. So I just wanted to encourage you today, throw out a little Wednesday wisdom today in regards to, keeping track of not just your finances and your credit history, but understand how that can be part of your mental health as well. Don't let your circumstances, situations, and the lack thereof when it comes to money dictate what you're capable of doing at home and in your own self-care. Because with that comes first. That will empower you and motivate you to be able to do anything else, including, upping that credit score to 700, 800 something. I'm not there quite yet, but I will be. I plan to. So like I say to you guys, I can, I must, and I will. Those who know the Fierce Confession that I sent out, if you're part of the Fierce Single Moms, and if you're not, you should come. But say it to yourself, repeat it to yourself, and believe it. I hope you guys have a marvelous day. Have a good one.